Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm going to break this down on a couple of different levels as we go through tonight. I'm going to talk about the Texas market as a whole. I'm going to break down each one of the major markets here in Texas. Mics, and then I'm going to announce everything that I'm going to say for the rest of the evening. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the month looked like in Texas last month. So this is the overall Texas market. Right below the red line, you can see 2020 versus 2021 and some of the prior years down there, just so you can see some of our prior performance. Right now, flat or up or down 1%. Is the new up. Orange is the new black. Flat is the new up, considering where we are in interest rates and some of the different things going on in the economy right now. So last month in Texas, the average price and median price were down. They were only down 1%, so nobody's crying too much. Days on market, still a very fast 71 days, 71 days. Closed sales last month down 6.7%. Months of inventory right now at a 5.2 month supply of inventory. Basically, what this means is if we stopped listing houses today based on the amount of inventory that we have currently on the market and the current buyer demand, in 5.2 months, we would be out of inventory for sale. Total active listings increased a little bit versus where we were last year. I'll go ahead and jump into the DFW market too. This is where I normally see the phones come out. Everybody got to take a picture of this. I'll leave it up long enough to make sure you guys get your shot. Last month, the sales price in DFW down 5.3%, median down 4.6%, but nothing to worry about, because if you look at the full year results for Dallas, the average sales price was up about 1%. So again, we're kind of in that market where a little up, a little down, but mostly flat year over year. 68 days. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me go back to, there we go. 68 days on market, still very fast, but it is all relative, right? So I'll tell you, one of the members of the association came to me about a year ago. Was, I need to talk to you. I need to have an emergency meeting with you. I got to talk to you about my property. I put it on the market. I don't have any offers, and I just want to talk to you to see what's going on. And I'm like, okay, yeah, great. Let's jump on a call. Let's see what's going on. I'm like, well, first off, how long has it been on the market? She's like, well, it's been on the market 2 weeks, and I'm just starting to freak out. It's like, so when we get spoiled, and a typical marketing period is a week or two, right? What 2 weeks might feel like an existential crisis for a real estate investor. So it's all relative. But I will tell you that really, truly, anything less than about 90 days is really solid in terms of overall performance. Last month in DFW, the sales were down 9.6%, which is the biggest gap we've had 2025 versus 2024. However, the total number of sales year to date is basically, again, in that flat to just barely up almost to 1%. So still a strong market versus the rest of the United States, and probably one of the stronger markets in the nation as well. We are seeing a lot of listings move to leases. So basically, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So if you can't sell it, then a lot of people are going and moving to lease their properties. You see the lease price up 4% and the number of new lease listings up 5%. In the Houston market, did anybody have any relatives or anything that live there? You'll see that the average price and median price were a little bit mixed, a little up, a little down. 60 days on market, still a really fast moving market. Sales in the Houston market still did pretty well. They were only down 2.3%. Right now, months of inventory. So if we stopped listing houses today based on the buyer demand over the last year, we'd have only 5 months before we were down to our last listing. I see lease listings up in Houston as well. Lease price flat at $22.62, and we added a 20% increase in the number of lease listings in Houston last month. San Antonio is the market that is really suffering right now. But last month was kind of interesting in terms of their suffrage, meaning that the average price and the median price were both up 4% and 5%, which sounds really good. But if you look at the sales last month in San Antonio were down 19% and pending sales down 7%. 17%. So San Antonio is the market that's being hit the hardest right now, kind of as we are kind of at that bottom, bouncing around at the bottom of the market cycle. San Antonio is actually in the news, in national news, as being one of the cities that had the largest number of properties that were under contract, that during their option period that the buyer terminated their contract. So San Antonio's seeing a pretty rough patch right now. So you can see why Dallas is looking much better than some of these other markets right now. The Austin market, again, saw a little mix on average and median price. Sales in Austin also down 9%. Pending sales basically flat versus where they were last year. The number of leases in Austin down 13%. Lease price down 2%, but still holding at above 2,100. I'm going to walk through some of the market drivers. So if you guys want to dig into some of the different things that are going on in this market right now, don't take a picture yet, because it's going to be a build, and it's going to have 5 builds, and then you'll want to take a picture of that as soon as I get there. But I want to break it down a little bit slowly, just so it's not too much of an eye chart as we go through. But what we're seeing right now is one of the categories that I break it down into is the overall economic condition. So consumer confidence, they say anything above 100 is really good. In 2021, 2022, parts of 2023, we were seeing that number 110, 120, 130. Right now, consumer confidence is around 89, which is one of the lowest that we've seen historically. Unemployment rate, they say anything above 5% unemployment is basically full employment, just because we have a natural movement of people in between jobs, so it's very normal. Right now, Texas is at 4.1%. So Texas is really low unemployment, lower than the rest of the United States. And Texas is making more jobs than the rest of the United States as well. More people are moving here. If you guys were invested in the stock market and in any of the Magnificent Seven or in any of the AI stocks, you probably saw some of those go up 20 to 25% year over year. The stock market kind of gives people an indication of, how do I feel? Do I have extra? Do I feel rich? Am I saving for my future? And the other thing that we like to look at is housing affordability. So we have seen interest rates come down versus where they were about a year ago, but we're not seeing them really move below that 5% mortgage rate marker. At 5%, the market really moves. Where we are right now in the low 6s, market's kind of still a little stuck. So as those interest rates start to go down, which we'll probably see as the Fed Chairman Powell finishes his term in May of this year, we might see some movement there as well. Housing price trajectory staying basically flat. Housing supply, so the builders are not overbuilding. The builders are not contributing to the problem. Active listings are at kind of in orange or yellow, so not too high, not too low, but they're about normal for us, because the months of inventory, as long as it's below 6, that's not really a buyer's market, not really a seller's market. And right now, most of Texas it's growing, but it's only at about a 5.5 month supply of inventory. Housing permits. So again, this is where we're not overbuilding right now. So builders are being very cautious, which is good, because we don't want to oversupply the market when the market's kind of slowing down. We don't have enough contractors, and we're deporting all the contractors, which will mean that the cost of anything that we do in terms of labor is going to go up. And a lot of the people with some of the experience have probably been deported as well, which will make our projects take longer, cost more, etc. So if you're looking for folks, it's a little bit tougher to find folks right now in terms of building. For housing demand, again, we're basically flat on closed sale. We got one more. We got 5 things. Basically flat on closed sales, even though last month was down. But if you look at overall Texas year to date, up about 1.7% in terms of total sales. Pending sales, again, basically flat. So anything, again, that up plus or minus 1 is what I'm calling flat. In migration, we have more people coming to Dallas than we have people moving out of Dallas, just because there's so many jobs here and so many businesses here. Probably some of you guys want to say to the rest of the nation, we're closed. we, we don't want any more traffic, right? But I will say that having more people here will increase the value of the housing stock that is currently out there. And guys, for my picture takers, now you may take your picture. So the last one is really just talking about the wild cards that are out there. The interest rates, right? When are they going to decrease, and by how much will they decrease? The tax and law changes, so that's in green. So the big beautiful bill extended some depreciation and accelerated depreciation options for us that has a really good effect for us as real estate investors. War, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, Iran. We just kidnapped the president of Venezuela about a week ago. I mean, there's some stuff going on out there in the world, and hopefully we're pushing towards, I know President Trump is really working hard to push towards ceasefires, to push towards negotiations, to push towards making a deal like no president I have ever seen in my lifetime, let alone probably the entire history of the United States. So I'm really hoping and praying that he can make some impact with some of the wars and some of the lost lives. But that does create some uncertainty for us out there. Tariffs going up and down create some uncertainty. Tariffs increase the price of the things that we put into our houses, whether it's dishwashers, whether it's refrigerators, whether it's, lumber, that a lot of that we get from Canada. And then immigration, that's something that we're watching. Inflation. So inflation's pretty sticky right now, and it's been sticky for about the last 3 years. Yesterday's numbers came out at 2.7%, which is below 3, but they really want it in kind of that low 2 sort of range to be able to feel comfortable enough to reduce the overnight federal funds rate, which sometimes can have an effect on the mortgage rate. And then AI, there's a lot of uncertainty around AI, and some of that is affecting the housing market as well, because when you feel highly certain, then you're okay about buying a house because you know what your life's going to look like over the next several years. So these are some of the drivers that I've identified in terms of what's keeping the market at a little bit of a standstill right now. I'm curious to ask you guys, what's missing from this list? What are you guys thinking about? Yeah. Y'all Street is what you're thinking about. Yeah. Y'all Street's coming to Dallas, right? So I think that's going to create a lot of opportunity here. And I think that's, if you look at all the markets, Houston and Dallas are doing the best. The average price in Dallas is about, I want to say, gosh, I just had it on the screen, but I want to say it was about $100,000 higher than it is in Houston. So Houston has always had a lower price of real estate than Dallas, and it's partially because Houston doesn't have any zoning laws. You can literally put a daycare next to a gun shop, next to a strip club, next to a church, next to a gardening shop, right? But in most of the places, other major cities, there are a lot of zoning laws. And with Houston, you can literally build from lot end to the other lot end. I lived in Houston for a little while. I had a neighbor who had such a small side yard that he had to take his lawnmower through the house to go from mowing the front to mowing the back, okay? So that's how the zoning laws are there, versus here, you've got to have different setbacks, you've got to have different impervious cover, those sorts of things. So, but because of those lack of zoning laws, it has kept the Houston real estate market a little bit more affordable than this Dallas market. But so many different businesses are moving here. Y'all Street is coming. I'm so excited about that. I think it's going to, challenge, the Chicago exchange as well as the New York exchange. So it's going to be exciting to watch. Yes. Y'all Street. So you've heard of Wall Street in New York, the financial district where they trade the New York Stock Exchange and the Dow Jones, stock exchange. There's also the Chicago at CBO. Yeah. So we're basically saying, we're Texas. We're like the 8th largest GDP of all of the countries in the world. And we want to keep our money here, and we want to invest in the things that are Texas and Texas stock. And it's kind of a challenge to some of those other more established stock markets, but I think it's probably about time. So I'm actually excited about it. So what that means for us, it's going to bring more money here. It's going to bring more opportunity here. It's going to bring more businesses here. Companies will list on that exchange. I think it's going to be very positive for this area. It's still in its, it's still very young. It still hasn't gotten through all of its proving ground. But I think, and it will probably kind of have some ups and downs, right? Just like any new technology or any new business. But I think if we look back at it, 10 years from now, we're going to say, yeah, it was a definite mover for us. Yeah, great point. Yeah. And what other things, guys, you feel like are missing from this market update? Or what else is going on in the world or the local economy?
There's a lot of mega projects that are slated for the Dallas area.
A lot of mega projects, yeah. There's a lot of investment here in the DFW area, for sure, yeah.
Hollywood relocating Mansfield.
Yeah. A lot of Californians are saying, F this. That's a technical term. Sorry about that. But they're saying, like, let's get the heck out of here before, anyone here from California, by the way? Just curious. Okay. Get a rope. Get a couple. He's a big guy. So we do have a couple of rules in Texas. First off, how long have you been here, sir?
I've been here since 2002.
Okay, you look like you've been here for a while. So by now you even probably have this bumper sticker on your truck. Do you drive a truck yet? Yeah. So you at this point now probably have this bumper sticker on your truck, which is "Don't California, my Texas." Yeah, we're pretty serious about that. Just want to make sure. But yeah, I think a lot of people are, and I read this great quote from this book by Kenneth Groenbach. It's called "Upside: Profiting from the Demographic Changes That Are Ahead." And he said, high taxes don't relocate income, don't redistribute income. Instead, they redistribute people, right? People move away. We've got Chris in the back. He came here from Boston. You were probably taxed when you breathed, right? So, yeah. So a lot of people move here for those exact reasons, and a lot of businesses come here because it is such a business-friendly environment. We have no state income tax, but for us real estate investors, especially us buy and hold ones, we have a pretty high property tax, right? But it's offset by other much more reasonable cost of living on many other items, and that's one of the reasons why Texas is such an attraction for so many people. Yeah, great points, guys. Great points. So when we look at the forecast for 2026, I think we're at the bottom of the market cycle. This feels very much like 2010 felt 15, 16 years ago. 2010 is when a lot of the markets were starting to turn around. And it feels, we might bounce around the bottom for a while. We bounced around 2010 for about 2 years before we shot up out of it. But I know we will shoot up out of it the same way. A lot of sellers are at what I call the point of capitulation. So there's an opportunity to make really great deals now. And as a real estate investor, we make money on the buy. We only get that money back with profit once we go and fix it and do everything right, and we get it back on the sell. So you guys got to be around people who can tell you this is a good deal, and be in a community that knows where the market is going, what deals are a heck yes, and what deals are a heck no. Interest rates are forecasted to decrease throughout 2026, especially after Fed Chairman Powell is replaced in May. If interest rates can get in that below 5.5 or even that low 5 range, the market really starts moving. So most real estate flips take 4 to 6 months. If you know that the Fed chairman's going to be out the door in 5 months, what does that tell you to do now? buy real estate, right? Because by the time you fix it and put it on the market, we'll probably see some of those lower rates. And then we'll see sales rebound and prices start to go up as we start to see that as well. Nancy, do you want to make an announcement?
Oh, just super quick, guys. We got to have all of you guys tagged and ready to rock. You'll be getting emails by tomorrow morning. I'm really going to head out myself, but if there's anybody who wanted to have like an independent conversation, not everybody at once, but like, if you want to trickle outside, I can chat with you guys if you need some tips on some stuff. That one guy learned to have me for a whole hour, so he's left.
I could tell. It was a personal coaching, personal psychology session. I don't know which one it was. Yeah. All right, Nance, appreciate you. I'm about to wrap up. So, guys, if you want to be first in line to chat with Nancy, you guys can go now. But if you have any questions about the market update or the forecast, or if you still need to get signed up for the event, you can go right outside that door. We've got Bree and Rachel out there, and we can help you get both signed up for the event as well as get you a blueprint and get you all set up and going. Guys, what questions do you have for me? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead. I
got a million questions to this whole thing.
Let's go.
But most recently, you mentioned being at the bottom of the market. As a real estate investor myself now, not nearly as big as what you guys are, but that's why I'm here. I've been having a problem talking to sellers of them living in 2023, 2024, even 2022, where they think their house is worth way more than what it is now.
Yeah.
And they still haven't, I've been waiting a year for them to come to this realization of you can't get what you could get a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. You can't get what you could get 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
$50,000 over asking price. It's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Multiple offers above list price, same day it was listed, sight unseen. That's a market that,
so when
yeah.
I'm trying to educate and when I'm trying to offer, they just think I'm lowballing, which I'm an investor.
I would say instead, what do you know about the current state of the market?
Okay.
And just ask them to explain it. And then you need to be the voice of reason, sharing some of the things that I just shared. I hope you took a picture of what's going on in the DFW market so you can show them, well, last month in Dallas, this is what the numbers said. Okay. There is a book that I would highly recommend you read. There's several, but the one that I would start with, where you can use the phrase, what do you know about, is a book called Exactly What to Say. And there's two versions of it. There's the basic exactly what to say, but then there's the exactly what to say for the real estate agent. Now, for those of you guys who are not real estate agents, let me tell you this. Agents and investors encounter the exact same objections. So regardless, if you are in real estate, get the exactly what to say for the real estate agent. It's written by the author Phil M. Jones. For those of you guys who don't read, that's okay. He's super entertaining dude. He's British, so he has a great British accent. He's really a lot of fun to listen to as well. So you can listen to it on Audible. If you don't have Audible, then if you have Spotify or Apple Music, you can probably find it there too. But you can download the book. Literally, you could read the book over a 2 to 4 hour plane ride, depending on how quickly you read or how quickly you listen. But there are a lot of things that you can use to make sure that they understand where the market is today, using some very simple phrases, but very exacting phrases, followed by what Chris Voss, he wrote the book Never Split the Difference, talks about in terms of dynamic silences. So for my big readers in the room, I would start with Phil Jones, Exactly What to Say, and then I would jump right into Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss was a former FBI terrorist and hostage negotiator. And if you are thinking, what the heck does terrorist and hostage negotiations have to do with real estate investing? Then what you have told me is you have never dealt with a motivated seller, because it very much feels like a terrorist or a hostage negotiation, okay? And I've had those same negotiations, those same conversations in 2010 is what's happening right now. So he gives you great ways to be able to connect with people, even if you're just walking up to them and don't have any prior knowledge of them nor they of you. So it's a really fantastic book to read. Also great to listen to on Audible. Whereas Phil Jones reads his own book, Chris Voss does not read his, but the narrator who he hired for it was really good and really good at getting some of those points across. But you can listen to Chris Voss on a ton of different podcasts. He's been on every major podcast out there. I think even Joe Rogan. So he's got some great stuff, and you guys can all learn from him. I use this stuff in my work life, my real estate life. I use it with our son. He's a teenager, also synonymous with terrorist, for those of you guys who know, and unfortunately I had him listen to the Chris Voss book with me and go to the Chris Voss training with me. So now I'm on to other neuroscience, teachers to be able to still put some manipulation moves on my son. But those are some of the great books that I would recommend. And there are some great ways to be able to use some of those things. And even if you just print the cliff notes of it and just kind of practice them, and if you're on a call, you can have them in front of you. You'll see how you can use those very effectively for some of those negotiations. Yeah. Ask a follow-up. Yeah. Yeah.
So being at the bottom market, I love the way you handled that objection that you're getting, but are you seeing your conversion rate numbers start to change from 2024 to where we're at now?
I will say, like, if you were to do a count of the number of people who are on the foreclosure list in 2022 versus the number of people on the foreclosure list in 2026, 2022, there were slim pickings. 2026, it's like field of dreams. Okay. There's different ways that you can work with them. You can work with them before they go to auction. You can buy even after they go to auction, because banks don't want to hold on to those properties either. So I'd say there's more motivation right now. So you saw on my last slide, the big build, consumer confidence, right? You saw some of the pressures that people are having right now. So, one of the things that I track is credit card delinquencies, auto payment delinquencies, the number of people who are making the minimum payment on their credit cards, right? All of those numbers have gone up. Usually the house is the last thing that they are ready to let go. But that point of capitulation, depends on, if they're on the auction list, they're there. They don't always like to admit that they're there, but if they're on the auction list, they are there. Now, and these are just very difficult conversations. And I would start with, I'm curious, and you have to approach it with curiosity. Don't go in there and say, what do you know about the market? Because then you're going to come off like an a-hole and they're not going to want to deal with you. But if you come off with curiosity, because you can't be in judgment and in curiosity at the same time. But if you come off in true curiosity and just looking at you, I can tell you can pull it off. There are some people in the room who are going to have a little trouble, will be a little too, I'm just saying, I fall into that camp. But if you can do it with true curiosity and no judgment, I'm super curious. What do you know about what's happening in the market right now? I'm super curious. What do you know about the for sale by owner process? I'm super curious. What do you know about how long properties are spending on market? I'm curious. Do you know how the interest rates have affected the prices, the monthly mortgage statements, or the monthly mortgage payments? Are people making 50% more? No, but the monthly mortgage payments are 50% more. And most people can't afford them like they were able to in 2022. Have you had other people in your circle kind of had that same experience? I just asked like that. Yeah.
So, excuse me, I just moved here from Kansas City.
Kansas City, all right, cool.
Literally a week ago.
Phil's parents are from Kansas. They were Blue Jays. They're from Lawrence?
Yeah.
Lawrence, yeah. Welcome to Texas.
Thank you. So my question is, Dallas is huge.
Dallas is huge.
And I see the market drivers for all this Dallas, Houston.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to know what strategies can I employ to really understand the market, because there's several areas, right? So if I'm wanting to do flips.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are new builds over in this neighborhood, but then the neighborhood.
You're not going to do a flip in a new build neighborhood. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand where can somebody do what? What strategies could you do?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So I will say too, at the workshop, what I'm going to pull up is actually I'm going to let Nancy pull it up. It's called the heat maps. So one of the things that I was able to do, so I'm a licensed realtor and broker in the great state of Texas. License number 0518223, broker license 0591721. You've all been disclosed to. I'm not your realtor, and please don't sue me. Everybody on the same page? Okay, good. So I've downloaded about 25 years worth of MLS sales from the MLS, and you guys met my husband, right? So double major, computer science and electrical engineering. So he and one of our other colleagues built a heat map so that we can see where the values have been and where the values are going. So we like to invest in what's called the path of progress. So Wayne Gretzky, the hockey great, had a great saying. He said, I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be. And I get there faster than anyone else. So what you need to know if you're investing to buy and hold for the long term is, where is that puck going to be in 5 years? If I want to double my money in 5 years, where do I need to be? Where do I need to put my puck? Where do I need to buy an asset? But if you're investing just for cash flow income today, fix and flip, wholesale, those sorts of things, and you want to really make your marketing dollar holler, okay? And you really want to make your marketing time holler, then I would suggest that you do your marketing in areas where a property could be a great fix and flip and a property could be a great buy and hold. Because sometimes if you're investing about 5 miles south of here down the tollway, you're getting into $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $20 million properties. Are you going to be able to hold one of those properties as a rental property? No. But if you're investing around here and further north and in a smaller property, you might be able to get a property for $500,000. How do you know that?
How do I know?
Because I'm just going to unscrew my brain and I'm going to unscrew your brain and we're going to trade brains. And the way that I'm going to do that is at our 3-day workshop. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, okay, you got me finally. All right, Chris, we got another one. We're going to sign this guy up. He's finally in. No, I'm kidding. You're good. And you'll also, so you'll look for older properties. So properties that were built before 1980. Sometimes there's a lot of opportunity there, because what do you know about a house that was built before 1980? It needs a lot of repairs. It might have cast iron pipes. It might need a new roof. It might need a completely new layout. It might need to be demolished and something new built there, right? So if you're investing in an area like that, you have multiple different exit strategies. You're not going to go and fix and flip a house where a builder's still putting up framing on, a house 2 blocks down. That's not going to work. You're going to do it in some of the older areas where you can see property prices in, $350,000, $450,000-ish range. That's what you want to look for. And then you'll also look at, real estate is local. So you're also going to look at, what are the days on market in this neighborhood, right? So I think you want to play 5 chess moves ahead, but you're thinking about that 5th chess move before you've even thought about that first chess move. So you're planning for what to do with a property without even having the property. I'd say go get the problem, go get the property, and then I'll parse that out for you in an instant. I'll look at it on the map. I'll look at it, what it needs, and I can very quickly say this is what it needs to repair. And I'll tell you, this is one of your 5 strategies that you can use. Because anybody here in the military? Yeah? So I know Chris in the back Chris, one of our military colleagues taught me this, and I thought it was so brilliant. He said, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So your strategy needs to have a backup strategy just in case you need to downshift into doing something different. So don't get attached to, what am I going to do with this? Just go get it. I will tell you that at some point you will have, and you might not be able to imagine it right in this moment, but at some point you're going to have enough experience that you'll do some of the things that Phil and I do, which is we got this deal, we got it closed. Now what the hell are we going to do with it? So, and it's just, we have options because we knew we bought it at the right price. We bought it in the right area. And we've got a network to be able to say, this is what you're going to do for that next deal and that next opportunity. So don't, you haven't even, put the chess pieces on the table and you're trying to be at the fifth chess move. Let's just move that first pawn out. That's where you need to be. Don't overthink it yet. Yeah, we'll give you some structure to be able to do it. I like to think of myself as the Coke freestyle machine of real estate investing. It's like, I want to make, it's like I thought I was going to make a root beer, but now I'm going to make a Dr. Pepper, vanilla. I don't, it's like, because something changed, it was out. So I'm going to downshift into something else. So don't get too attached to the strategy. Just make sure that the numbers work for multiple different options. Yeah, good questions. Yes, sir.
My name's Ronald. Thank you for taking
Hey,
my
Ronald.
question.
Yeah.
So I do see that you have quite a few market drivers on there, and obviously everything does affect to some extent. My question is, what are the top resources that you use, either websites or newsletters, in order to stay on top of everything?
Yeah, so I kind of cheat. So you see how some of these items here have underlines? So I update this every month, and I just click on those links that are on the underline. So I set a link to them. So consumer confidence, that's just a quick Google. What's consumer, and it'll be in the first one or two things that show up. Unemployment rate, again, another quick Google. Job growth, sometimes they're not showing this as easily. So you're going to have to do a little bit more searching for that. Stock market, that's pretty easy to find. Business growth cycle, that's one that's a little bit tougher to find. You'll typically find that from the Texas Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve has kind of the United States Federal Reserve, and somebody probably knows this a little bit better than I do right now, but I want to say that there are like 8 different Federal Reserves all around the country. There's one in Dallas. So the Dallas branch of the Federal Reserve reports for all of Texas and maybe even some other southern economies. Interest rates, pretty easy to grab. House pricing trajectory, that's something I pull from the MLS. Number of active listings, months of inventory, what I pull from the MLS. Housing permits, so on that one I get from the Texas A&M Real Estate Center. So I wish my Aggies were still in the room. Dang it. So as a Longhorn, I will tell you that the Texas A&M Real Estate Center has some of the best data for real estate in Texas of any company that you would pay out there, and it's free. So Texas A&M is, I think, one of the few major schools that has a degree for real estate. And a lot of the other ones, also from the MLS. So, but yeah, Texas A&M Real Estate Center is great information. I'm there every month.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think I've solved all the problems in real estate for tonight. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll solve the rest. Thank you for joining. Hold your applause. Really, I haven't been standing up here in high heels for the last 2 hours. Thank you. Guys, see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. We're going to be at the Sheraton, just right up on the Tollway and LBJ. So kind of right where everything, all that spaghetti kind of moves together. So super convenient location. And we'll see you there. Take care, guys. Bye.